According to Center for Disease Control and Prevention, tobacco use remains the leading preventable cause of death in the United States, causing nearly 440,000 deaths each year and resulting in an annual cost of more than $75 billion in direct medical costs. Nationally, smoking results in more than 5.5 million years of potential life loss each year. The majority of adult smokers started smoking by the age of 18. Every day, an estimated 3,900 young people under the age of 18 try their first cigarette. More than 6.4 million children living today will die prematurely because of a decision they will make as adolescents, the decision to smoke cigarettes. There has been no one video that has covered all the aspects of tobacco use. With this video, we will explore international marketing, advertising, and use, health effects, smoking, chew, secondhand smoke, youth advocacy, and addiction.
According to the World Federation of Public Health Associations, tobacco-related illnesses kill one person in the world every 10 seconds. Because tobacco is used all over the world, it has a global impact. With an estimated 1/3 of the world's population aged 15 and above smoking regularly, the negative health effects of tobacco use are now reaching proportions of a devastating global epidemic. Tobacco kills nearly 3.5 million people each year. In the United States, tobacco kills more people every day than AIDS, car crashes, suicide, alcohol, illegal drugs, fires, and murders combined. Each day, another 3,000 young people become regular smokers, according to CDC researchers. More than 33% of these young smokers will eventually die from their addiction. One of the ways the tobacco industry attracts new smokers is through media and advertising. Ads for tobacco products usually show young, good-looking people who are well-dressed at fun locations. The association that tobacco is fun and leads to a happy lifestyle is misleading. According to the Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids, the tobacco industry spends $15.4 billion every year on marketing nationwide. An estimated $90.2 million is spent for Nebraska marketing each year. Today's young people are bombarded with persuasive messages about tobacco, messages that make smoking look normal and cool. So learning to understand and analyze these messages from every kind of media outlet is important. Not only are the media messages important to understand, but it is vital that we know the health effects that tobacco has on the body. According to the World Health Organization, tobacco is the second major cause of death in the world. It is currently responsible for the death of 1 in 10 adults worldwide. That's about 5 million deaths each year. If current smoking patterns continue, tobacco will cause about 10 million deaths each year by 2020. Half the people that smoke today, that's about 650 million people, will eventually be killed by tobacco.
As you have seen, tobacco is very addictive, and getting hooked is easier than you think. It has very dangerous health effects, and with the help of Dr. Thomas White, you will see some of the devastating consequences of tobacco use.
Lung cancer really became a problem in the beginning of last century, in the early 1900s, and thought to be due to the industrialized revolution as well as the smoking. Okay, here comes the lobe. That looked real big, and this because it's not inflated. This is the undersurface. This is the surface that's on the diaphragm, and there's the tumor right there. Go ahead and zoom in. Move to the right. It feels it's about this big. It feels well, just like it looked on the CAT scan. It's about the size of a walnut. Have we mentioned how bad smoking is yet? Have we touched on that? I think we already talked about that.
Tobacco is the fourth most common risk factor for disease worldwide. The economic costs of tobacco use are equally devastating. In addition to the high public health costs of treating tobacco-caused diseases, tobacco kills people at the height of their productivity, depriving families of breadwinners and nations of a healthy workforce. Tobacco users are also less productive while they are alive due to increased illness. A 1994 report estimated that the use of tobacco resulted in an annual global net loss of $200,000 million, a third of this loss in developing countries.
Well, why do you think, because I know some of you have heard about the health effects, and we've all heard about them, that it causes heart disease and stroke and lung cancer and all kinds of illnesses. Why do you think people still start smoking and using tobacco?
They get addicted.
They get addicted. They don't think it's going to happen to them. Anything else? All right, how about another question? When a person first tries a cigarette, they start choking and coughing, they get dizzy. Why do you think this happens? It's their first time?
And they don't
Because of
think
the
it's that good.
nicotine.
Because of the nicotine?
They don't think it's that good.
Poisons. I heard the key word, poisons. What do those poisons do?
Like the tar in here and hurt your body and stuff.
Yeah, that's right. And when we get those poisons into our system, does that cause the coughing and the choking and the dizziness? Yeah. And it's our body just having a natural reaction to something that's not good entering, right?
It's true, cigarettes are weapons of mass destruction, and getting hooked is easier than you think. If you have never smoked cigarettes, it's hard to imagine that they can be so addictive. People who try to quit smoking describe the craving for tobacco as overwhelming and inescapable. Frequently, young people who start to smoke cigarettes tell themselves that if they want to quit, they will simply put their mind to it and do so. They might compare stopping smoking to other challenges, such as losing 5 pounds, learning a new skill such as skiing, or memorizing words to a lengthy poem. But that isn't how addiction works. Once someone is addicted to tobacco, it's never easy to stop. The majority of adult smokers started smoking by the age of 18. Every day, an estimated 3,900 young people under the age of 18 try their first cigarette.
I used to be athletic, play sports, basketball, used to like it. Now it's hard for me to get up and down the courts. It's hard for me to breathe. Sometimes it's hard for me to breathe just sitting around after moving around.
It's the worst feeling. Every time I pick up a cigarette and I smoke it and I go back in the house, the first thing I do is wash my hands. But still, it's not good enough because it's in your hair, it's on your clothes. No matter how many times you take a shower, it's still on your coat the next time you put it on.
But then I made a vow after I smelled my fur coat one day. And I went, oh no, can't smoke in this coat, you know. And then just eventually I just stopped. And for the life of me, I cannot tell you why I lit the cigarette again after a couple of years.
In the last 3 years, I've spent about 14 months in the hospital. And a lot of that's because of my lungs. I've only got 10% of my lungs left. And actually, it's less than 10. It was 10% about 6 years ago, and I think they said that 92% of my lungs is gone now. So
it takes away a lot of my time too. I have to go outside to smoke. I don't smoke in the house. This is one little deal I've made with myself just to protect my kids from the secondhand smoke. I smoke outside. This takes some time that I could be spending with them.
It's created a hardship on my family. It's created a lot of work, additional work for my wife. I need care. In the course of a day, I take over 50 some meds a day, about 30 some pills, and I have a nebulizer for my lungs and aerosol treatments for my lungs, and I got different pills that I take to get mucus loose, from my lungs, and I got excuse me.
Because kids are targeted by the tobacco companies and getting hooked is easier than you think, educating young people has been a primary focus. Through educational efforts, children have become the leaders in informing not only the public, but their own family members regarding the dangers of smoking, secondhand smoke, and chew. Some of the ways young people provide education are through groups such as Students Working Against Tobacco, or SWAT.
SWAT is Students Working Against Tobacco, and this week we learned about how to be advocates, which are people who tell other people in ways like writing letters and doing smoke-free carnivals and pledge laws that not to do tobacco because it's really bad for you.
I'm going to write a letter to my dad and tell him that I want him to quit smoking because I want him to live a long, long time to take care of me.
Public health officials remind us there is no safe way to smoke. Often young people want to know if pipes, cigars, and natural cigarettes are safer than regular cigarettes. Some people use low-tar cigarettes, such as lights, ultralights, or smokeless tobacco to try to reduce the risk. The truth is, there is no safe form of tobacco. All forms of tobacco are dangerous. More than 4,000 chemicals have been identified in tobacco smoke, and at least 250 are known to be toxic or cause cancer. The majority of adult smokers started smoking by the age of 18. Every day, an estimated 3,900 young people under the age of 18 try their first cigarette. More than 6.4 million children living today will die prematurely because of a decision they will make as adolescents, the decision to smoke cigarettes.
If you die prematurely from using tobacco, someone has lost a very important part of their life. Is it really worth the cost?
And it's not so much that I really want a cigarette, it's that it's a habit now. If I'm working on the computer or whatever I'm doing, 9 times out of 10, I'll light it, put it in the ashtray, and the next thing you know, there's a long trail of ash right there. I haven't taken but one puff off of it. So basically, I'm really being stupid because I'm wasting my money. You know, the ashtray is smoking, not me. And you know, anybody, I tell my own kids, I have 6 boys and a girl, and I tell them all, if you haven't started, don't start.
It's been going on for a minute, and I'm trying to get away from it. I got 2 little boys. I'm trying to teach them how to grow up, be strong and healthy, and stay in the sports and leave the cigarettes alone. So it's a process, but it's gonna get there.
I guess I can say the only time I actually wanted to quit smoking when I was just recently pregnant with my son, but I don't know. I want to quit. I don't know why I do it. I didn't do it when I was in high school because I was real athletic. I ran track. Like Donna said, you make excuses to not do things, and that's my excuse for not working out and not trying to get back in shape and feel good about myself.
Years later, with a family, I have a bill that runs me about $200 a month on cigarettes. Now, this is money that could go towards family things. My income's not that high, so this is actually taking away from the things I could be doing with my family and things that I could buy for my children.
Some of the drugs that I take are super expensive. This Sporanox, it's for my lungs. That's $600 a bottle, and I go through about 3 of them a month. And I take I have no immunity, natural immunity anymore, so I get what they call immunoglobulin IVs once every 3 weeks, and that's $8,000 for each of those treatments, plus it's about $800 for the blood workup before I take the treatment the day before. So I have to do a blood draw, and then they analyze it and see what they got to do to make their mixture for that, my immunoglobulin.
I'm Lou Ann Steinauer. I'm Leonard's wife. We've been married for almost 44 years. We have 6 kids. 3 of our kids currently do smoke. 1 just occasionally, 1 more socially, I'm told. And the 3rd one is a heavy smoker. I hate it. You know, you'd think they'd know after they see what their dad's gone through. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Smoking has changed our lives. We don't have control over what's going on in our life at all. We live it one day at a time, absolutely. Why would we have to lose someone that, with all that talent so quickly? It's really hard. So, I don't know, I'm just rattled. You know, the cost, the financial expense is outrageous. Leonard outlined a lot of it for you, but I had to quit work 1.5 years sooner than I intended to. So that lowers our Social Security benefit. It lowers all these things. You know, it's just a really difficult thing. And that's it. That's enough.
Remember guys, tobacco killed over 4 million people last year, and cigarettes are
weapons of mass destruction.